G'day guys, welcome back to the second video of the TB48 build. So this is Serena's car. It's going to be the one we set up for touring, and the GQ will become the weekender, which is my car. She's currently at work, so I'm going to do a few things for her car while she's there. She did originally have a TD42 wagon. It was a Series 3, so much older interior, had manual windows, all that sort of stuff, so no central locking, and she had been thinking about upgrading for a while, especially when I got into her ear and told her how much nicer TB48s are, especially being Series 4 with all the newer inside and stuff. So picked this thing up, and today we're getting stuck into it. So already had some stuff rock up, and I'll flip the camera around and give you guys a look at what we picked up. Rightio, so here's some of the stuff that we've already picked up. I grabbed all of this through Panel House, so I went there in store. They're in Brizzy, but they've also got a really good online shop for heaps of parts, four-wheel drive and street cars. I'll leave a thing on the screen, but also a link in the description. But I love these guys. I've been going there for 5 years since the D-Max. Couldn't recommend them any higher. So first thing is a factory chrome grill, which you can see my reflection in. So that's shiny. Just got to pull the old badge off the current grill. Got these little window protector things just to stop keeping the rain out. It's currently got those big clear ones on it, but they're disgusting and are actually quite dangerous in the morning when they fog up. So these are some nice tinted ones for front and rear. In here we've got some smoked LED tail lights. Probably won't get the best look at them right now. Oh, you can sort of see them. So they're smoked, and they've got a really bright brake light, reverse light, all that stuff. So these will be a lot nicer and safer, and they just look cool. So they'll go in, and then here you can probably guess are some headlights. So if I can get these out one-handed and sit them down, it's hard to tell quite how good they look when they're not turned on, but they've got a really nice DRL there and then DRL there, so they look really sick. Much brighter projector headlight, so the high beams and the low beams going to be 10 times brighter, and then when you've got the DRL running lights on, it just looks really cool for photos. How good's that? Just had Ozpost rock up as I'm already working on the car. So got this new dipstick. It's for the transmission because it was missing one. It just sort of had some tape over it, so I'm going to quickly chuck this in and just make sure that that fluid is actually up to level, and then continue doing what I was doing. Alright, as you can see, I've gotten rid of the whole front end. We got rid of the bull bar, the grille, the headlights, and I've just started wiring up these new ones. So you can see I've got it to work straight away. So I've got the DRLs on, got the indicators flashing, just double checking that left and right works, and then when I turn those indicators off, which I'll go do now, you'll see that the outside DRLs turn on as well. So if I go in here, turn the hazards off, you can see the outside goes back to DRL as well. So that's sort of how they look just when you're running the daylights. And then obviously that center part, the projector, turns on when you turn the actual headlights on too. And it is all done. So you can see you've got the headlights all bolted up, wired in, got the new grille in as well. And the bull bar is staying off because I'm probably just going to chuck the number plate on here and then drive it to work so we can start scanning and making up some new bull bars. So most likely the plan is to get the bull bar templated and mocked up on this car, and then I will actually be selling them. Well, it'll sort of be a dual thing between me and Radius Fab. So you guys have seen all the bull bars in the past that I've done, and I've always said how I wanted to do some flat pack setups so that you guys can sort of buy them on a crate, weld them up yourself, or you can buy them fully welded off. So I'm going to be aiming to have that as an option for you guys. And then yeah, it'll sort of be winch or winchless, probably have like a light bar infill or something. So I'm just going to make it exactly how I want, and then you guys will hopefully like it as well. But these headlights are so sick. You can see the DRL, super bright, and it's already just changed the whole front end of the car. I'd completely forgotten about the tail lights, so I'm going to quickly pull the stock ones off the back, get these all wired in, plugged in. Hopefully it's a pretty simple install, and then I'll move on to actually doing a quick little exhaust using my old setup from my TB48 Ute, and then that'll pretty much be the end of the video. So I'll get stuck into the rear end now. And second day in the row, I've had the postman rock up as I'm working on the car, because we've got parts rocking up for this GU left, right and centre. And this is from the team at Mud Tamer. We had them in the last TD, and we had it in a couple of the other cars. They've got some coming for the GQ, so stay tuned for that. I've got a link in my bio and everything on my Instagram for a discount code for these, but these are fully 3D molded and stuff, and they fit unreal, so I'll chuck them in and show you how they look. But pretty much the best floor mats you can get. They've got all the new model utes and stuff as well, and yeah, they just mold around and they catch all the sand and dirt and stuff really well. So, and then because of the material they're made out of, you can pretty much pull them out at the car wash, pressure wash them, chuck them in, and don't have to worry about a thing. Floor mats are in. You can see how well these fit, fully molded. Wrap around the side of the pillar here, underneath the pedals, even on the side there. So you can see you could like fully pour a drink bottle or something here and it'd collect it all, same as sand and dirt, so couldn't rate these any higher. Doing this is sort of just one of those little cheat codes, makes it look a lot higher. Down the track we might do some sliders, but these things are pointless, so this is sort of just a bit of a before and after. Finished result, much cleaner, bit more clearance, makes it look a bit more lifted. So I'm actually going to unbolt the cat and delete that straight away, and then I can steal the flanges from there and that end. I'm going to pull that muffler off, because if you can see there's holes all through it, because that's still the factory muffler from 20 years ago. So I'm going to pull that out, pull the whole system out, and just as a temporary exhaust setup for now, it'll be pretty much a 3-inch pipe to go from here past the cross member, and then I've got my old muffler from my 4.8 Ute, and I'm going to put that there and just do a side dump just before the lower control arm. I just got done pulling out the exhaust and the cat. Thought I'd show you this first. You can sort of see there that there's barely any light getting through, so that's why I always pull the cat out, because that is restricting the flow. There's like literally a tiny little hole at the bottom, so I bet you inside of that's all clogged up, which is restricting a lot of airflow, so that will definitely reduce performance. Alright, I've cut up my old exhaust off the Ute, and then this is the Racecraft muffler, 3-inch in and out, high flow. Alright, so I didn't film a lot of it, but you can see I've ended up welding it all up. So you've got the muffler welded to the flange, goes through, sits just above that cross member, goes into a 3-inch. It has a 90, or not a 90, but it's got like a 40-degree bend there, and then it just dumps straight here. And I was also able to pick up the little mount there, so it's actually super solid, but I'm not going to touch it because it's just been running. So I'll give you guys a quick little sound check and everything. But at the moment I still need to make up like a little tip here, but for now this does the job. But I think we actually are going to do a set of extractors pretty soon as well, because yeah, they're pretty limiting, those factory ones. So you can probably have a better look now. These are those factory extractors, and you can see the big cats in here, whatever you want to call them. They're going to restrict it a lot. So I originally, when I had this exhaust unbolted but the stock headers on, I started the car and it was pretty quiet still with no muffler, no exhaust. I've just finished putting these pacemaker extractors on and putting some of the airbox setup back in. This is how I'm just going to run it for now. It's still got the silencer here, and then the MAF's still here, but it's just going to have that little filter, or I'll cut that off and just put a little pod filter here until I can take it into the workshop at Radius Fab, and we're going to make up a custom airbox in here. But you can see these extractors, they're all bolted up, checked for leaks, and they're all good. And I just started it, and this thing is 50 times louder. So now I will put the rest of the exhaust on and hopefully get some nice crackles and pops and a much nicer note. So I will quickly do some sound clips for you straight through without a muffler, but it'll most likely blow out the mic and sound like shit. Alright, little update. I've got the extractors in, you can see, and then I've welded up the V-band that goes into 3-inch and then into the Racecraft muffler that I had with the stock extractors, and at the moment it's just dumping right there. And I just did a sound test and now it's probably too loud, so with the new pacemaker extractors and just the one muffler, it's a little bit too loud. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this one. I will give you one final run through of the intake setup and then the exhaust setup, and just explain why we sort of did things certain ways and what we have coming up for it. So I'll flip the camera around and run you through that. So as you can see, we've got the cover back on, and then this is how it currently is, but we're not really driving the car. So I've been talking to Brad Smith, who is the TB48 guru, and essentially when I go to Radius Fab, me and Serena are going to design our own airbox with Radius Fab, and one of the things Brad basically recommended is to try and keep this whole section. So this air straightener is super important because it essentially filters through the air and just gets all the air coming in smooth and straight, same as what a filter does on the end of your tap in your house. And then also the MAF position and depth and everything is super important. So we're going to try to design a airbox that basically is as large as possible, comes into the factory outlet to go to your snorkel, but then this with these factory bolt holes actually bolts and seals to the airbox itself. That way you don't have to do any cutting or anything, you just get the airbox. If you want one for your TB48, you bolt this to that, and then will be an aftermarket pipe here that we weld up as well, that'll have like a slight bend in it, that has got the factory bung here for your vacuum and stuff, but we will delete the big silencer and stuff here, so it'll look a lot cleaner and retain all the factory sensor and stuff, which will keep it simple. And then for the exhaust, we ended up with the pacemaker extractors, 3-inch high flow muffler, and then a 3-inch dump, but we will play around with it a bit because it is slightly too loud still, and I'll probably get some hot dogs or something to sort of quieten it out and maybe dump it all the way at the back, just because Serena's obviously going to drive this once we got the bull bar and stuff done, and we don't want it too loud. So one thing we do have coming, which will be with Brad Smith as well, he does all the remote tuning, and we will be tuning this thing getting the limiter tuned into it, because the 2006 model doesn't have a factory limiter, so it just revs out at $6,000. So once we get that done, we can get some more exhaust clips, hitting limiter, shooting flames, all that good stuff. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys are very keen to see the rest of this build. It's only just begun and we've got a lot of stuff coming, and it's going to be one hell of a build.